Random variables discussed till now are independent of any other variables. Whereas, whenever we consider two random variables, those two random variables may be related in one or the other way. That is, one random variable may be dependent on the other random variable. Independence is one of the important property of random variable or random number. To investigate the relationship between more than one random variables, we'll look into different types of input models. We have two different types of input models. The first one, it is called as multivariate input model. The second one is the time series input model. Coming to the first one, the multivariate input model, these input models, they have finite number of random variables. Suppose we have x1, x2, x3 and all random variables. So finite number of random variables are once again represented using multivariate input models. Here x1 is a random variable, x2 is a random variable, and so on up to xk. So we can tell that there are k number of random variables. Example, suppose if I consider an inventory model. With respect to the inventory model, so as the demand increases, the lead time also increases. Suppose if I consider this lead time as the first random variable x1 and this demand as one more random variable x2, as the demand increases, the lead time also increases. So we can tell that this x1 and x2 are dependent. These type of examples or these types of scenarios are represented using multivariate input models. Moving to the second one, we have time series input models where we have infinite sequence of random variables like x1, x2, x3 and so on. Example, at this particular point of time, I may have 10 random variables starting from x1 to x10. After some around 30 seconds, I may have 4 random variables x1, x2, x3 and x4. Example, suppose consider time between the arrivals of orders to buy and sell. Buy and sell orders tend to arrive in burst. Fine. Hence, the time between the arrivals are always dependent. So these type of scenarios, they are represented using time series input models. Whenever we consider the multivariate or time series input models, we should know the concepts of covariance and correlation. Why? Because we are establishing or we are checking the relationship that is existing between more than one random variables, whether they are independent or dependent. And also we should have some parameter where it is going to tell whether the random variables are dependent or they are independent. Now consider a model that describes the relationship between two random variables. The model that we are considering is, consider this as the model to represent what? The relationship between two random variables. The relationship is established like x1 minus nu1, where this is your mean of first random variable, beta x2 minus nu, the mean of the second random variable, plus we have one more value here, that is epsilon, where this epsilon, it is a normal distribution, fine, within the range 0 comma the variance value, where this 0 is again which one now, that is your mean value, that is nu, and this is the variance value, and this epsilon, it is always independent of the second variable, that is x2. So we should have some means to tell whether this x1 and x2 are independent or they are dependent. So based on the beta, that is the value beta, we'll decide whether x1 and x2 are independent. If beta equals to 0, x1 and x2 are statistically independent. If beta is greater than 0, x1 and x2 tend to be above or below their means together. If beta is less than 0, x1 and x2 tend to be on opposite sides of their means, fine. Whereas this epsilon, it is a normal distribution in the range 0 comma the variance square. Coming to this covariance, the covariance between x1 and x2, they are calculated using this formula. So the covariance of x1 comma x2 equals to the expected value of x1 minus nu1 into x2 minus nu2. So if you just evaluate it, you will get expected value of x1 comma x1 into x2 minus nu1 into nu2. Fine. Now whatever the covariance we are going to get, the covariance value between two variables x1 and x2, if we have equal to 0, this can be compared with beta having the value equal to 0, which is nothing but they are statistically independent. If it is less than 0, then it is similar to beta having less than 0. X1 and X2 tend to be on opposite sides of their means. If it is greater than 0, then this is X1 and X2 tend to be above or below their means together. Coming to this correlation between two variables x1 and x2, they are represented using this row symbol. So the correlation of x1 and x2, that is two random variables, equals to covariance of x1 and x2 divided by sigma 1 into sigma 2. Fine. And it is always told that, okay, whenever the values are closer to -1 and 1, there is always a tight relationship between which one? The two random variables x1 and x2. So again, similar to the previous one, correlation value, if it is equal to 0, then they are statistically independent. If it is less than 0, similar to beta less than 0. If it is greater than 0, similar to beta greater than 0. The closer the correlation to -1 or 1, the stronger the linear relationship between x1 and x2. That is how the correlation represents between two random variables x1 and x2. Coming to the time series is a sequence of random variables which are infinite and are identically distributed but dependent. Whenever we are going to consider time series input model, there we are going to consider again the covariance as well as the correlation. The covariance and the correlation, they are always, okay, here if the autocovariance value depends only on h and not on t, the time series is covariance stationary. They always depend on the value that is called as lag h. Covariance is lag h autocovariance, correlation is a lag h autocorrelation. Now coming to this, when we studied with testing for randomness, to test the property of independence of random numbers, we had a technique that is called as autocorrelation. Correct. In autocorrelation, what we did, whenever we had a sequence of random numbers, fine, we generated one more sequence from that particular random numbers which are called as lag. That is, when we started studying with autocorrelation, consider the third random number, then 8th random number, then again what, the 13th random number, and so on in a given sequence of random numbers. So we generated a new sequence where taking the third random number, the 8th random number, 13th random number, and so on. So here between the third and 8th, if I just take the lag value is how much now? That is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. 8 and 13, what is the lag value? That is 5. So this value, it is called as what? Lag. Fine. With respect to the time series, fine. Okay, since we are using this lag h, which is similar to your autocorrelation, so we consider this covariance as autocovariance and this correlation as autocorrelation. If the autocovariance value depends only on h, not on t, we have time as well as lag h. Here this h value may be 1, 2, 3 and so on. If it is 5, then this is how the sequence will be generated. The third element, then the 8th element, then the 13th element and so on. Here h will be replaced with 5. If it is 4, this h will be replaced with 4. So h and not on t, the time series is covariance stationary. So this is how we are going to consider what? The lag in autocovariance as well as autocorrelation. Coming to this multivariate input model, if there are two random variables x1 and x2 which are normally distributed, dependence between them can be modeled by the bivariate normal distribution with the parameters like nu1, nu2 and sigma 1 square comma sigma 2 square. So these are what the mean value of the two variables x1 and x2. These are covariance variance value of x1 and x2, and correlation, which is represented as rho. Okay, so it is normally distributed with these parameters: mean, variance and correlation, that is rho. To estimate mean and variance, parameter estimation has to be done. I think you know we have already executed or solved some of the problem with respect to the estimation, the parameter estimation. To estimate this correlation, suppose we have n independent and identically distributed pairs. Fine, that is x11 x21, then x12 x22 x1n comma x2n. Then the covariance, the parameter estimation with respect to the covariance is calculated using this formula, and using this covariance value we can calculate what? The correlation. Okay, so we should have the covariance, then that will be, once again using this we'll calculate what? The correlation. So coming to this multivariate, suppose consider we have two random variables x1, x and y. Fine, then definitely this x will be having the values. So this is x1, then once again this is y1, this is x2, then once again this is y2, and so on. Fine, so this is one random variable x and this is one random variable, that is y. So here x can be compared with x1, y can be compared with x2. So the covariance is calculated by using 1 by n minus 1, where n is what? The number of values with respect to the random variable, the first random variable x1, like how many number of values are present. Suppose like this 1 2 3 and something like 10 are there, then n value will be 10. Then the summation from starting j equals to 1 to n, then x of 1 of j minus of x1 bar, which is nothing but this is the mean value of the first random variable x1, then x2 j minus x2 bar, this is the mean of which one? The second random variable, which is equal to, if you just evaluate, you'll get the answer as 1 by n minus 1, the summation of x1j into x2j minus of n into mean of the first random variable, then the mean of the second random variable. Using this covariance value, we'll calculate what? The correlation. The correlation of x1 comma x2 equals to the covariance of x1 comma x2 divided by variance of the first random variable, then the variance of the second random variable. We'll take up an example and we'll see how actually this multivariate input model works. Now consider an example here, the demand and lead time. Fine. If I consider the lead time as the first random variable, the demand as the next random variable as y, for the product are given below. Test whether two variables are independent or not. So we need to check whether these two variables are independent or not. With respect to lead and demand, so how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the value of n, the small n, is how much now? It is equal to 10. Fine. Now once again, so before to tell whether they are independent or not, so we saw with respect to the beta value, if beta equals to 0, what we tell? Okay, these two variables are statistically independent. If beta is greater than or less than 0, then they are not independent, they are dependent. That is how we gauge it. So with respect to this, we have n equals to 10 and we have two random variables x and followed by what? That is y. Now what we have to do, first we have to calculate the covariance, then after that we need to calculate what? The correlation. The correlation is calculated by using the value, which one now? The covariance of two random variables divided by, once again what? The variance of both the random variables. That is how we are going to calculate it. Now we'll for calculating that, fine. So I have just once again written all the formulas here. The correlation is calculated by using covariance of x comma y way, okay, then divided by the variance of the first random variable divided into the variance of the second random variable. This covariance is calculated by using the formula 1 by n minus 1, then summation of, this is what? The first random variable, then once again the second random variable, minus the summation of this and this, minus n into the mean of the first random variable, then followed by the mean of the second random variable. Now coming to this, fine, this variance, that is sigma x, is calculated using what? Square root of, okay, summation of x square minus n into the mean of the first random variable square divided by n minus 1. In the similar way, okay, the sigma y equals to, once again, square root of summation of y square minus n of, okay, then once again bar of square divided by n minus 1. Fine. Now here, if the correlation value, that is equals to 0, then x and y are independent. If this correlation value is closer to -1 and +1, stronger is the relationship between the two random variables, that is x and y. Fine. Now if you see here, now we should have, okay, a value. What and all we need to calculate? We need to calculate what? The summation of x into y, correct? That is 1. Then once again we need to calculate what? X square. Then once again what we need to calculate? The summation of y square. So let's construct the table and calculate all this value. Then finally apply those values in this formula and check whether these two variables are independent or dependent. So we have load time and demand type given data, then followed by we want this one, summation of what? That x into y, so x and y. Then once again we want x square, then once again we want y square. So I have one more column x square, one more column y square. Now coming to this x into y, okay, this column is calculated by using x and y, so this into this, okay, this is the value. So this into this is what? This value that we are getting. Then once again 4.3 into 83 is what? This value. Like this you calculate this complete column. Then after that we want x square. X square is calculated by using 6.5 square, the value is this one. Then 4.3 square, this value. 6.9, this value. Similarly y square, 103 square, 10609, 83 square, 689. Like this you just calculate the values for all the 10 elements. Okay, so what were all the columns we have? We have x into y, x square and y square. Then after that you find the summation of which one? X. So the summation of x equals to, that is nothing but the sum of all these elements, equals to how much now? 61.4. Then once again coming to the second column, the sum of all the elements of the next variable, the variable y, is what? 1018. Then once again the sum of all this variable, that is x into y, is how much? 6328.5. Then once again the sum of this column, okay, so the sum of all the values of x square column is how much? Then 386.44. In a similar way calculate for the last column, which is for what? Y square. Fine. After that, okay, if I consider the covariance formula, covariance of x comma y, which is equal to 1 by n minus 1 summation of x into y minus n of these two values. These two is what? Mean of the first random variable, then the mean of the second random variable. So how you are going to calculate this? The summation of, okay, that is x divided by how much now? N. So I have already have this form value. The value is how much? 61.4 divided by n will be what? 6.14. In the similar way y bar, okay, take 1018 divided by n, which is not equal to 101.8. Fine. So this value already we have here, which is equal to how much? X into y. So x into y is how much? 6328.5. So substitute the values in this formula. Substituting the values, we get covariance of x comma y equals to 1 divided by n is how much? N I told it is 10. So it is 1 divided by 10 minus 1 of, okay, this value 6328.5 minus, once again it is n. So n into then x bar is 61.14 into 101.8. What is the answer you are getting? You are getting 8.66. Fine. So next we need to calculate what? The correlation. The correlation is always calculated by using what? The covariance of, okay, that is x comma y, fine, divided by what we need to calculate? Sigma 1 into sigma 2. Fine. That is with respect to this one will be with respect to the first variable x, this will be with respect to the second variable y. Fine. Now coming to this, fine, so the formula we will be using is what? Square root of sigma of x square. So we already have the value here, that is x square, correct? Then once again y square also we have. You can see here sigma of x square minus n into, okay, x bar square. X bar square, so it is nothing but 61.14 square divided by n minus 1. So substitute the values, so we'll get this one 386.44. So 38.644 minus 10 into what is the value? So square of this 6.14 square. So it is 37.69 divided by 10 minus 1 is 9. So find the square root of this. fine, which is equal to how much now? 1.024. Similar way calculate for what? Once again sigma y, you will get the answer as what? 9.93. Substitute the values in this formula. So we have covariance 8.66 divided by, once again what is the value we have now? Divided by 1.024. So 1.024 into 9.93. So the covariance, the correlation value is how much now? 0.8516. Fine. Now which is almost closer to which one now? That is +1. So we can tell the lead time and demand time are dependent on each other. Fine. So this is how we are going to check whether two random variables are independent or dependent. So this is an example for the multivariate input models. Moving to the next one, the time series input model. So as I told, this time series input model, this works similar to the concepts of autocorrelation. If x1, x2, x3, they are infinite, is a sequence of identically distributed but dependent and covariant stationary random variables, then we represent the process as follows. Covariant stationary is what? It always depends on h value, okay, not with t value. Then we can tell it is covariance stationary. Process as follows. So we have two different types of time series input model. The first one is autoregressive order 1 model, represented as what? AR1. A stands for auto regressive, AR auto regressive, 1 for order 1 model. The next one is exponential autoregressive order 1 model, EAR. EAR stands for exponential. So this, the distribution basically we are going to consider here is what? The exponential distribution. One stands for order 1 model. Both have the characteristics that what? Lag edge or autocorrelation decreases geometrically as the lag increases, hence observation far apart in the time are nearly independent. Fine. So both works on the value of which one now? Lag edge. Fine. So the autocorrelation decreases as this lag edge value increases. Coming to the first one, that is autoregressive order 1 time series input model. Consider the time series model. So this is the model that we are going to consider. Fine. Xt equals to nu plus phi of x of t minus 1 minus nu plus epsilon t, where this is once again a normal distribution in the range of 0 comma sigma square, and this t value varies from 2 comma 3 comma and so on, where epsilon 1 epsilon 2 are normally distributed with mu of 0 and the variance. So normally distributed as discussed. So it is always normally distributed within the range. Which one now? Nu and variance. If x1 is chosen appropriately, then x1, x2 are normally distributed with mean equals to nu, and variance is calculated by using this formula. That is sigma square divided by 1 minus phi of square. Fine. Where this phi, okay, so it is, okay, that is the, this is how the variance is calculated. The autocorrelation is always calculated as rho of h equals to pi of h. H is what? The lag edge value. Once again we need an estimator. The estimators we are going to is to estimate what? We need to estimate three parameters. One is phi, one is nu, the one is what? Again with sigma square. For nu we are going to estimate with x bar. Then for variance, the variance is calculated by using what? Sigma square, okay, then 1 minus of phi of square. Then once again this phi value, which is nothing but what? Covariance of xt plus comma xt plus 1 divided by sigma square. Fine. So this is calculated by using this formula, and covariance of xt comma xt plus 1. Here 1 is nothing but the value of h. So here what lag we are going to consider? We are going to consider lag 1 auto covariance, where covariance of xt comma xt plus 1 is a lag 1 auto covariance. Right? So this is how we are going to find the values. Coming to the next one, that is EAR of 1, that is exponential autoregressive order 1 time series input model. So consider the series model, okay, time series model. The model is represented using this formula. Fine. So once again we have once again epsilon 2, epsilon 3 are exponentially distributed. With respect to the exponential, we have only one parameter, that is lambda. Fine. So to estimate the parameter, how we are going to estimate the parameter? The parameter estimated as what? Okay, 1 by lambda, which is nothing but lambda is estimated by using what? 1 divided by mean value, that is new value. So if I just send the mean here, that is new. Okay, so this will be how much now? 1 divided by lambda. Fine. If x1 is chosen approximately, then x1 comma x2 are exponentially distributed with the mean of equals to 1 divided by lambda, and autocorrelation, that is rho of h equals to phi of h, and once again only positive correlation is allowed. Similarly, to estimate phi and lambda, lambda is estimated as what? So 1 by, that is x bar, and phi is nothing but the correlation value, which is equal to covariance of xt comma xt plus 1 divided by sigma square. Once again, this sigma square is calculated using the previous formula, and one is what? Lag 1 autocovariance, where covariance equals to xt comma xt plus 1 is a lag 1 autocovariance. Fine. Here is just an example to show how actually this lag 1 autocovariance works. Just look into this. The stockbroker would typically have a large sample of data. Suppose the following 20 time gaps. What is the 20 time gaps? That is 20 time gaps, okay, between customer buy and sell orders has been recorded. Okay, so it is 1.95, 1.75, 20 time gaps. Okay, so how many values are here now? 20 values. So these 20 values are nothing but what? 20 time gaps between the customer buy and sell orders have been recorded in seconds. Estimate the lag 1 autocorrelation. Given, okay, the mean value is what? X bar equals to 5.2, and the variance square equals to how much now? 26.7. Fine. So coming to this, first we need to calculate xt into xt plus 1. Fine. That is to calculate this covariance. The covariance xt, then xt plus 1. To calculate this covariance, once again, I think previously when we solved the multivariance, okay, so we saw covariance, that is sigma of x into y. So this is xt into xt plus 1. So that is what is happening here. Okay, j equals to 1 to 19. Okay, xt plus 1. So how we are going to calculate this? 1.95 into 1.75 plus 1.75 into 1.58 plus 1.58 into 1.42 plus 1.42 into 1.28 plus 1.28 into 1.15, and so on up to the last number. If you just do the summation of all these things, you will get the answer as 924.1. Fine. Now we need to calculate the covariance. The covariance is 1 divided by n minus 1. Okay, summation of t equals to 1 to n minus 1, that is starting from 1 to 19, xt into xt plus 1. Xt into xt plus 1, we calculated 924.1, substituted minus n minus 1 x square, which is nothing but mean. So mean value is given, that is 5.2, so it is 5.2 whole square. Just calculate this, 1 divided by 20 minus 1 and substitute the values, will get the answer as what? 21.6. Now find what? The correlation. Estimate what? The autocorrelation. Fine. So here this is called as autocorrelation, this is called as auto covariance, which is equal to covariance value, okay, that is calculated 21.6 divided by variance square. The variance value is given 26.7. Fine. Just do it, you will get 0.8. Therefore, we could model the interarrival times as an EAR, exponential autoregressive one process with, okay, what is the value? This is to estimate the lambda, it is 1 divided by x bar. X bar is given as how much now? That is 5.2. Just give 5.2, which will be equal to 0.198. And this phi value is how much? 0.8. Provided that an exponential distribution is good model for individual gaps. So this is just an example to show how we can use what? Exponential auto regressive order 1 time series model. Fine. So this is all about the multivariate and time series input models. Thank you.